called, like the smaller ones are called skid comps. Then when you've got the bigger shows, we more call them burnout competitions.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they're really cool to watch. I mean, the videos that you put on there are awesome. And I've been getting more and more into watching that stuff because we've got them here, but they're not as big as like what you guys got them. And what you guys have is just awesome. I mean,
yeah, it's next level over here. Obviously, we've been doing it for quite some time, since the 80s, really. So we've got 40 years on you guys. But yeah, so but in saying that, you guys over there, there's been quite a few people that I've watched and I follow on their social medias and like YouTube and stuff. And there's some guys over there that are they've clued onto how we do it and what we do, and they've been listening and watching. And yeah, the competition over there is picking up. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I know where we're at. I live in Wisconsin and we don't really have a lot of it. So it is cool to see when they do it because we've got this big car show called Automotion, which is in the Wisconsin Dells. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that place or not, but yeah, they usually have like a massive burnout pit and it's just really cool to watch. But a lot of it's like your guys' cars, when you do it, they're like souped up for this. A lot of what we have here, which kind of sucks, it's like you either got like the rusted out 4-wheel drive pickups or like the old, well, I'd say what are the F-body Camaros and stuff like that. And I mean, that's pretty much what we get to see. We don't get to see like what you guys have with like the massively built cars. And I mean, some of the engines stick like what, like 2-3 feet out of the hood, it looks like at times.
Yeah, so a lot of our cars, even the cars at a lower level, are actually built for burnouts. Some of them still look like your average day family 4-door car, but they have actually built the car to do burnouts. And there's a lot of little things that we do to achieve what we need to. These are actually built cars. I know a lot of people look at them, especially the bigger cars like the blown cars and stuff like that. The hardware, the motors, the gearboxes, the diffs, the cars themselves, they all look very similar to a drag car. And this is where it really, the Americans, Canadians, even the Europeans really struggle to difference between the two. And they're like, oh, like I've seen them talk about Steve Nogas's Killer Bee that Cletus has bought. They said, oh, you could put big tires under that and run it down the quarter. And to explain to these people that you put big tires on that, it'll just fry them tires. It's about setup. Yeah. And these cars are set up to do burnouts. They're not set up to go from A to B.
Well, you guys have a lot higher gear ratios and stuff in there, right?
So we're pretty secretive about our diff ratios.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one thing that sort of everyone keeps to themselves. Diff ratios, cam specs, carby specs.
Okay.
They're probably your biggest three that people aren't freely going to go and tell you. Put it this way, in Formula One or even NASCAR or something like that, teams aren't sharing information. They can like each other, but they're not sharing information. So we're pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay.
But in saying that, there's a number of different diff ratios. So depending on what your engine is doing, when it comes to RPM and power, depending on what trans you've got behind it, whether you've got an auto trans like a 4L60, 4L80E, T400, Power Glide, manual, depending on what's happening there, depends on your final drive ratio, but then also the tyre size that you run, the width of the tyre, and the actual rim size that we're going to run, and tyre profile. So there is a bit of science that goes into it when we have those, when we're building a car. So yeah, it just isn't a big powerful motor with an auto box, a locked diff, and throw some tyres on it. Like it seems that simple, but yeah, there's a bit more that goes into it. Yeah.
So what do you run? Because I mean, I've watched the
My
videos.
car.
I know. I mean, I know what the car you're running, but for the people that are just getting to know you and coming from our side, from Blown Pistons, yeah, what exactly are you running for your competitions?
Okay, so I run an NA V8. It's a L98 LS based motor, 6 litre, alley block. So it's practically a stock bottom end, refreshed bearings and things like that. There was no need to throw rods and pistons at it. It was just have your bearing clearances good and everything like that. Throw a cam in it. Then the heads. I run pretty much a standard head, other than they've been ported and massaged a bit.
Okay.
Valve sizes a little bit different and things like that. So the heads have had a bit of work done to them. We all know what an LS likes. They like to rev and they like the head work, anything top end, and they'll flow and they'll make power.
Yeah.
I do something that so many people think that is backwards with an LS, and it's I run a carby.
Okay.
Yeah, so methanol carby, and it looks like a garden hose, the amount of fuel that we're putting into it. It's a 750 quick fuel carby.
Okay.
A lot of people think that that's small. It's about setup. We can throw more air at it. We could put a 950 on it, but it's got to be able to pedal around the pad.
Yeah.
So the 750 works for the combination that I've got going on with my motor. I run things like electric water pump. The only belt that I run is to my alternator. Everything else has been deleted off, so there's no power steering. I run a manual rack. Gearbox wise, I've got a T400, 4,500 stall converter in it, fully manualized forward pattern T400 it is. That gearbox will handle 1,200 horsepower. It's got just about billet everything through the guts.
I know it's a beautiful car.
Yeah. So, and then at the back end, I run a 9-inch from the Castlemaine Rod Shop. So the Rod Shop guys, a lot of people have heard about them. They had their cars with the boys in the US there, Warbird and that. So I'll run one of their diffs with a strange center. I'll tell you my gear ratio on the rear because I'm about to change it anyway. But currently I run a 3.7. That wasn't working for me. So I didn't quite get my maths right there. So yeah, it's good for like power crews and events like that. But yeah, not the burnout comp side of things. Yeah, 31 spline billet axles. Yeah, all the. I wanted to build everything underneath as tough as nails, so I just did it once, and I wasn't going to have issues. Yeah, I run a MSD, the MSD Black that runs LS motors.
Cool.
Yeah. Other than that, it's a VC Commodore wagon. A lot of people are like, oh wow, you picked a wagon. It's really long. I don't know if you've seen my blue Ute that I've got.
Yeah.
That wagon is a foot long, a foot shorter than that Ute.
Oh wow.
Like it's a physically smaller car.
Your Ute is really cool. I wish they had them here because it's one of those type of cars that I would love to have here, but for some reason, I don't know. I'm assuming, well, I'm not really sure why we don't have them, but it would be cool to have them.
I think General Motors, mate, they stuffed up.
Yeah. You guys got a lot. I mean, we got some cool cars here, don't get me wrong, but you guys got some stuff there that's just absolutely awesome. Because I mean, I'm a Ford guy, and the Falcons that you guys have had over there and stuff like that are really cool. But yeah, you guys have, I know, like the Holdens and stuff like that, which over here is pretty much the GTOs, or was the GTOs, but which I wish they wouldn't have killed them because they were really cool cars. And
yeah,
you guys just got some cooler stuff than we got, I think, personally.
It's funny because if you ask Australians, we think the opposite. We think you guys got all the cool shit and we didn't. But yeah, But yeah, so like the car that I've got, I still know the original owners.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they've seen it and they're like, wow, I remember buying that in 1981. Um, brand new from a Holden dealer. Um, yeah, so like it's got a lot of custom stuff in there. Black Magic Racing did all my chassis work for me. I tried to do as much as possible. Obviously, I work away, so I'm away for 2 weeks and I'm only home for 1 week. So I tried to do as much as possible, but when it come down to chassis work and stuff like that, I don't have jigs and things to keep things square, true, and straight.
Yeah.
So we sent it off to Black Magic Racing, and we had Lauren Black and Blackie, her dad, there. They did the work on the rear end, the front end, and everything like that.
Nice.
So they're amazing people. They're a small family business in Australia, and I will plug those guys every chance I get because they were.
Go ahead. Go ahead and plug them. Let people know where they're at and stuff like that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because they were absolute amazing people to deal with, and the quality of work. Like you get what you pay for. You're going to pay top dollar for something, and they will deliver that and above, which was fantastic. Awesome. And just such flexible people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they did my chassis work for me, which was really nice. It was such an ease of experience.
Cool.
That's what you really want when you're building a car.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's my car. It's meant to be ratty on the outside. It's meant to look like I've just pulled it out of paddock somewhere, and thrown some flash stuff at it. Yeah, but
when you look under the hood,
definitely good fun.
When you look under the hood, that thing is absolutely beautiful, though. I love the red, the reddish color in there and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted to go do something different like that, where it was kind of like open the bonnet and, you know, it's like the diamond in a goat's ass sort of thing. So, yeah, so I kind of wanted that. So like, you know, the motor was nice and clean. I used like Speed Flow. Those guys helped me out, like Lost Performance Products. They hooked me up with all the Speed Flow stuff and some other Go Fast bits and pieces. Yeah, so I wanted all my fittings, my hoses, my motor to look clean and nice and that, and just have that red which stands out.
Yeah.
So originally I didn't really have a perfect color in mind, so I went to a company, another local business, S&S Industries in Perth. Went and seen the guys there, and I originally used to work for House of Colour back in the day, and I thought about using House of Colour, but then I found DNA Paints, which is another company that's Australian, and they're from Melbourne. So yeah, I kind of had a chat to the guys there around picking a colour, and I did kind of have the red thing in theme, because black, red, you know, sort of goes.
Yeah.
And so we took out 3 samples, all sprayed out, and then I told them I kind of wanted a bit of a flake over that as well. So it's a candy base coat, what they call it. It's called Spilt Blood. So it's a few processes to actually get to the color, and then I put down there, what was it, 100cc 12 micron. So it's one of their smaller flakes.
Okay.
I didn't want to go too big with it. Yeah, so I laid the flake over it, and then when they seen that, the paint that I did, you know, the guys were like, "Wow, we've never seen anyone do this with our paint." So they were quite happy with me, and they sort of plugged me on their page a bit and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, are we able to use the pictures of your car and things like that?" And I was like, "Yes, go for it, sweet," you know. Just to give people ideas of what they can do with their paints. Like, it's not just pick a color and just one paint. There's other things we can add to it. Yeah. No, so that's how the paint. Yeah, the paint come about like that, and then you know, I did it in the shed at home after a carton of beer. Probably not the best idea.
Yeah, it works. That's how this network was founded.
Over a carton of beer.
Yeah, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh, yeah. We kind of joke around about that. It's pretty much how it started. A bunch of guys just kind of sitting around, and one of them got the idea, "Hey, let's put a microphone to us," and there we go.
Nice. And then now here we are.
Yep. But so was that car pretty much, it was bone stock when you got it, or?
Yeah, so I paid $900 for it, registered, picked it up off my mate, and drove it home. It had a dodgy shock in the rear end, so I chucked some new shocks in it. I lowered it. It started out as a cream color, kind of like that wall.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it was just like the old family wagon, so to speak. So what I did was pretty much I wanted to have a car like a wagon that I could throw some shit in, go to the beach, drive around. I wanted an old car to drive around in, just on weekends and things. Yeah, so that's what it really started out as. It was never meant to be a purpose-built burnout car at the start. It wasn't until I blew up a trans in it. I blew a trans big time. And then that's when things kicked off. And it went from being, I'm just going to chuck in a LS1, 4L60,
Mhm.
stock computer, maybe a bit of a cam, keep driving it around, to the fully custom dedicated burnout car with 600 horsepower methanol. You know, I
That's
can't
usually
drive
how
it
they
very far.
start. Yeah,
Yeah. So the basic build was going to start, and then it's gotten to where it is today. Yeah, so
because
it is what it is.
I got a 2001 Ford Mustang that it was based just going to be a drive around car. Next thing I know, the 4.6s have an issue where they spit out spark plugs.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I put newer heads on it, and it's like, yeah, what the hell? Put long tube headers on it. Next thing I know, it's like redoing everything else. It's like crap. And the car is still sitting in my garage right now, and now I'm getting like the ache to drive it because it sucks because it's just sitting. And
Yeah.
Ford was dumb because the 5.4s take. I found out that I put a Windsor head on where they were a Romeo head for stock and
Hmm.
different bolt pattern for the valve cover. So now my car's sitting in the garage all because I can't find valve covers.
Oh, right.
So
Are they, is they harder to find or something, or?
yeah, a little bit. And right now with the way the economy is and stuff like that, it's harder to find stuff because our wonderful president, not a huge fan of this guy. But yeah, it's kind of screwed everything up. So everybody wants an arm and a leg for something stupid. And so
Yeah. No, I feel your pain over here, mate. We're in a very similar situation. So yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, it is
totally
what it is. I
understand.
mean, gas went 2 years ago. Gas over here was like $1.98. Now it's almost $5. So it's like, come on.
Mm,
And I got a diesel truck
yeah.
too, and that was like two something a gallon 2 years ago. Now it's over $5 a gallon for US. So it went up quite a bit. I don't even drive the truck anymore. It pretty much sits in the driveway.
Yeah. No, we went through the same thing. Like that blue Ute that I've got. Um, that will cost me about $140 to fill it up now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Aussie money. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. But I suppose my methanol is probably the biggest one that I got the shits about going up because it's like a byproduct.
Yeah.
And I use nearly 40 liters. By the time I've driven out to the pad, done my burnout, and driven back to the pits, I've used 40 liters easy. So I buy it in 205 liter drums, and it
Okay.
costs me $325 for a drum.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Anywhere up to, if you buy name brand ones like VP Racing, they're $800 for a drum.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's $4 a liter. But yeah, so like, that starts to get pretty, like the fuel side of things gets more expensive than the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
do you trailer your car to these events, or do you drive them?
Okay, so I don't live very far from what they call the Perth Motorplex.
Okay.
Um, I think it's probably a 10-minute drive, if that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I drove my car there once and used 50 liters of fuel.
Oh wow. Not real fuel
So
efficient then.
No. So yeah, I thought I might do that here, there, and everywhere. Like I'd drive it to the Plex and do burnouts and then drive it home. When I found out that I needed to use 200 liters of fuel nearly to do that, it's just easier to trailer it. Like between my mates, we've all got trailers. Mates have got tilt tray trucks and all that
Okay.
sort of stuff. So yeah, we usually our little team of about was it 6 or 7 cars. Yeah, we all get it there somehow, somewhere. Yeah,
Okay.
we don't
Now
we don't necessarily drive them. Yeah,
you also judge the competitions and stuff too, don't you?
I sure do, mate. I sure do. Yeah, I
Now,
do.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I judge some of the biggest comps. I judge the biggest comp, Summer Nats.
Okay.
And so then you've got the main comp at Summer Nats, and then you've got Burnout Masters, which is like the big grand final, I suppose you could call it, your Super Bowl of burnouts.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 35 of the toughest cars in Australia come to that. They've got to get I suppose what they call it, a golden ticket from another comp that they've won around the country. Yeah, and then you've got a couple of wild cards. So we have a wild card shootout, and we take 2 wild cards from that.
Oh, cool.
And they go into the comp. But yeah, I do that. I judge their ones. I judge smaller comps as well, and also judge like Gazanat. So if any of your listeners have ever heard of the name Gary Myers, he has the Mustang that his son now drives, which is called Sicko. It's a 302 Windsor that does 9,000 plus RPM with a blower on it. Yeah, it makes over 1,000 horsepower. Like it, mate, this thing sings, eh?
How does he get a
But yeah,
302 to do that?
mate, it's been doing it for 35 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So is that like he's got an old, is it a Fox body Mustang?
No, mate, it's 67. One of the first of the
Nice.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's 67. Yes, 66 or 67, one of the two. Yeah. One of them two, yeah.
okay. Now, how does that work for judging the competitions? Is like the most smoke or something, or like the circles, or how does that usually go for those?
Okay. So the standard is pretty much set by Summer Nats. They've got a standard that they look at. Other smaller comps replicate that. Some change it up. So pretty much what we look for is your first part is your instant smoke. The second they hit that pedal, how much smoke comes out and how quickly it comes out. Then you're looking at constant smoke. So when they're moving around the pad, are they still making smoke, or is it because they're moving too fast that they're losing wheel speed? Then we're looking at the volume of smoke. So like, that ties in with consistent smoke. Are they consistently making a volume of smoke? Guys who get their diff ratios right and know their cars right can have the same volume, that whole skid, and still move around, still doing things. Yeah. After that, the majority, 50% of your points comes from drivability. So how good your tip in is, how flowing your burnout is, if you're putting the car where you want to put it, how much of the pad you're using, are you playing it safe, are you using the chutes if they're available to use, things like that. And then we've got deductions. So like you've got hitting the wall, fires, not getting your tires off. So if you don't blow your tires, that's a deduction. Each of them are a deduction. Yeah. And for the big boys, we have to have a minute time limit. So they have to get their cars to last a minute before they get the tires off. So yeah, they can get the tires off in 1 minute, 1 second, and they don't incur any penalties. If they get it under a minute, then they get a five point penalty per 5-second block. So pretty much a second of
Okay.
point a second. Yeah. How the points goes, it's 10 points for your instant smoke. So from 0 to 10 for your instant smoke, your volume and your consistent smoke out of 20 points each.
Okay.
So that makes 50 points, and then your driving is made up of 50 points. Yeah.
Sorry, I got my wife in the background. She's throwing stuff away. And I just heard the
That's
box.
all right.
If you heard like the clunking, that was her.
All good. But yeah, so the way I look at things when I'm judging, I learnt at the top level, I've learnt that Clint Ogilvy told me everyone starts with 100 points, and you start looking for their stuff ups, and that's you just make little deductions, and that's how you get to your final product. Yeah, it's easier to do that when that's such a high level, like a high skill level. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it.
Cool. So does like crowd involvement come in at all, or no?
Some comps, yes. So if you heard just before when I was on my live talking to Mick, that competition had crowd response. I'm not a big fan of those sorts of points because they're very subjective. It doesn't, your burnout comp can really suffer from that sort of judging.
I guess if you got like I guess if you got like a local hero or something, they're all going to go nuts for that guy, and it's going to kind of screw somebody that's not from there. And then if it's judged on that, they're going to get the short end of the stick because they don't know anybody there.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And groups of people. You've got groups of cars that have their fans.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit weird if you rocked up to a no other sport in the world does it, but if you rocked up like to a NASCAR one, and you've got a clear winner over the line.
Yeah.
The rest of the crowd was like, "No, we think second place should have won, so we're cheering for him."
It's happened in the past, though.
Oh yeah. I did watch something the other day about that. Yeah.
Next,
sore spot.
Myself, I'm a huge NASCAR fan, so
yeah.
I've seen them through history where the guy that's won it, they'll make some stupid rule up like he passed down the yellow line if it's a guy they don't like, and if it is a guy they like, then he got pushed down there, so it's all good. So
a bit like the Dale Earnhardt one.
Yeah, kind of. But myself, I'm a Brad Keselowski fan. If you ever watch any of it. Did I lose you?
Sorry, mate. Did you lose me there?
Oh yeah, I lost you for a second there, but all good.
Sorry, I just got a call from my boss.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah. So, where were we at there? Sorry, I've just forgotten.
We're talking about the NASCAR stuff and that, and
I was a bit of NASCAR.
Yeah, I was telling you, I'm a Brad Keselowski fan, so I know how it feels to
get
the short end of stuff at times, but no, that's really cool. Like I said, I've watched a lot of your videos and stuff, and I'm assuming when you guys do those cars, you want a narrower tire as possible, wouldn't you? Or no?
Not so much. Like our tires are decided, like I was saying, with what's going on with the rest of our driveline. So those bigger cars, the blown cars, some of those use 4x4 tires. So they'll be a 17-inch rim or an 18-inch rim. Some of them use 19-inch rims. And the tire will be like a 245 wide tire, simply just to keep the actual for that time limit, that 1 minute time limit, so they don't blow the tires off it. So yeah, so someone like myself, I use like a 205 65 15 tire. That's what works for me. Some of them use a 195, so they sound like a skinnier tire. But it also comes down to cost as well when it's something like that as well. So sorry, I'm just packing my bag as well.
Oh no, you're fine. So are they like
Yeah.
street legal tires, or you guys got special tires for that?
Yeah, no. Well, some of them are the special tires, like the coloured smoke ones that you see. But yeah, they are DOT approved tires. Back in the day, we had a bit of a thing with a Chinese company where we could buy them in bulk.
Okay.
Yeah, buy them in bulk from China in a shipping container. And when we were doing that, I think I was paying $12.50 a tire. Mind you, this was 15 years ago. Yeah, so it's a little while back. But yeah, so they were not DOT approved, and we didn't have to have them be. So that's how we got away with getting them so cheap. We didn't have to pay the tax on them
Okay.
because we weren't selling them to the public to go on public roads. But yeah, so the tire size is sort of determined due to engine configuration, trans and diff sort of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if I know you said you're on a time crunch and stuff. If you need to, we can do
we're all right, mate.
Okay. I just didn't want to put you out or make you feel like you had to get stuff going.
I'll talk and walk at the same time, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So do you guys do those competitions like all year round, or is there like seasons for it where you guys take a break from it? So
technically there is a season during like our summertime. But then there's still comps that sort of run outside of that, because obviously Australia is a big country like you guys, and not necessarily all of it's in raining or snow or anything like that. So at the moment we've got Brashenats, which is on today, and then we've got other comps happening. That camera's still fine, is it?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so officially the season finished 2-ish weeks ago.
Okay.
And then picks back up in September. So you get about a 4-month break. Yeah, but then the same right there is a few comps throughout the place that they have in places like Darwin, where the weather's nice and still sunny like it is up here. So they can hold the comps during winter time. Okay. But yeah, so technically we do have a season where it's just flat out, there's a burnout comp every weekend, all over the country, depending on, there'll be multiple burnout comps on a weekend. But yeah, then you've got a few through winter to keep you sort of going, I suppose. Yeah.
So do you stay primarily around Perth, or do you go all over the continent for the competitions?
So with judging, I'm all over Australia, New Zealand, and I was meant to actually go to America until the COVID side of things hit, and obviously we couldn't travel. But with the car, I can't take it anywhere just yet. I suppose I could, but yeah, trying to get it, the logistics of getting it around the country at the moment are a little bit hard. But yeah, probably in the next year or two, or probably the next year actually, yeah, that side of things will change, and we'll be able to freely move the car around the country. But okay. Yeah, mostly just in Western Australia, I do burnouts at the moment. Yeah.
What part of the US do you come to and do them?
So I can't say too much about it because it's still in the works.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, along the lines with judging and stuff like that. I think they want to do a bit of an announcement about it, but we usually they want us to. I had Cletus's guys come and see me at Summernats, was it 2 years ago, and they wanted us to go over there and sort of judge a comp for them so they can go. We've got some Australian judges here, and they want to step their game up and have a competition like ours. So they want to be able to teach people how we do it, and have people being judged from Australian judges, so that they can go, oh, this is what I need to improve on. This is how I need to build a car, or that sort of thing. Which was pretty cool that they come and contacted us, I suppose, or seen us at Summernats and had a chat with us. But we haven't been able to. Obviously, once again, the old COVID thing stuffed that up.
Yeah, it screwed a lot of things up around here. My wife just said, "Fuck COVID."
Yeah.
It kind
of.
It gave her a COVID kind of gave her a medical condition at the moment that we're dealing with. So.
Right. Okay.
So I've had it twice. It's run through our family. My wife's had it about 5 times. So I luckily missed it 3 times in a row.
I haven't had it once.
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
both my housemates have had it, and I've lived with them and haven't caught it off.
Yeah, you're lucky. I mean, it's the first time sucked. The second time it felt like a cold.
Okay. Yeah.
At least for me, my wife has. She's going to end up having to go through possibly neurosurgery because of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's what is it called? Sorry, she's getting a drink right next to me.
It's a rare form.
No, you're right.
Pressure.
It's a rare form of intracranial pressure. So, not fun.
Narrowing of the large vessels in your brain.
Narrowing of large vessels in your brain, basically.
Jesus.
Yeah, fun. But
I hope everything's okay. Yeah.
It's getting there. I think we're getting it solved, hopefully. Just
nice.
The insurance companies like to drag their feet and take their time and everything on it. So
wouldn't be an insurance company if they didn't, mate.
Exactly. But
yeah.
If anything that you want to plug as far as any events or anything like that, more than welcome to.
Yeah, look, I don't really know other than I got Jake Myers is a good friend of mine. His dad Gary. The whole family, they look after me when I go to their events, whether I'm a spectator, whether I'm working for them as a judge or an entrant, they constantly look after me, which is really nice. Same with our Summernats family. Andy Lopez, one of the owners, I won't mention the other two, but yeah, they just look after you like family. Like I think the best way to describe it is like, you guys have like drag racing and it becomes a bit of a family thing. Whereas I'm not saying a family event, but like the actual, what would you call it? The actual, like the teams and everything like that. And yeah, just everyone sort of gets really close. And so that them two competitions, or them two, they really look after myself and the guys who else work for them, even the other competitors and stuff like that. And I think that's why they're so successful. Yeah. But I've got to go in about 2 seconds, guys.
Okay. So I just want to get it out there for my guys. Where all can everybody find you as far as the social media and stuff so they can follow more of your stuff?
I'll probably go towards TikTok. Obviously my name's Hemi Mopar 43 on TikTok. Or you can find me on my second account, which is Prousey43. So if anyone wants to jump over there and give us a hi or a hello or whatever, then that's, yeah. Okay. Any questions about burnouts or anything?
Awesome. Yeah. So, guys, like I said, this has been Daniel Prowse or Prousey. And it's been a great pleasure talking to you, sir.
Cheers, man.
So this will end up going up, being recorded, and it should be on our website probably in about a week or so. So I'll send you a message to let you know where you can find it and that stuff. I mean, if you ever go on Facebook, Blowing Pistons, yeah. So as soon as it comes up and it's ready, I'll let you know, and that way you can listen to it and see what you think.
Cheers, mate.
And
thank you.
You're more than welcome to come back on anytime.
Will do. I'll send you a message.
So, all right, I'll let you get going so you can make your flight back, and I hope you have a good day, sir.
Thanks, mate. We'll talk soon, eh?
All right, later.
Catch up.